Now, I want you to stop for a moment. Just stop, okay? That's probably what you're saying to me. Just stop it, okay? All right. Because you're not willing to study the Bible for yourself is the reason you feel like that. Okay, just stop it for a moment. Now, I want you to stop and imagine God. The poet James Weldon Johnson said this about God at creation. And God stepped out on space, and he looked around and said, I'm lonely. I will make me a world. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm going to tell you from the Bible why you were born. It's in Ephesians 1 and verse 4 through 5. I'm reading from the New Living Translation or the New Living Bible, I forget which one. It says, now listen, now watch these words closely. God's unchanging plan has always been to adopt us into his own family by bringing us to himself through Jesus Christ. And this gave him great pleasure. Now let's notice it again. God's unchanging plan, it has always been God's will, has been to adopt us, that's you and me, into his own family. Now how does he do that? By bringing us to himself through Jesus Christ, and this gives him great pleasure. So the poet James Weldon Johnson not only sees God as the creator of everything, he imagines a motive for the act of the creator. In other words, what was God's motive? You know, you really don't, I'm not sure we really understand people until we understand their motive. What's behind the motive for what, you know, this person did or what God is doing? Now, this little quote from James, The Lonely God, that comes from a book by Ronald L. Dart. And it's a powerful little book, The Lonely God. But the question is, what has God been doing for the past 10 million years? Has God been up in heaven twiddling his thumb? Or the truth of the matter is, he has been up to something that is so mind-blowing that none of us could probably even imagine. But what was his motive for creating? In other words, why were you born? What was his motive behind creating man in the first place? Well, let's take a look at it in Genesis 1 and verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish and the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So God told men and women to reproduce after their own kind. So we're all a part of the human kind, the human family. And I was born into the Freeman family. My mother was a Knox. She married a Freeman and, of course, changed her name. And so when I came along, I was born into the Freeman family, and I had certain privileges in that family. They did not treat me like a dog. They didn't tie me, put a collar around my neck and tie me to a stake outside and build me a little, you know, a little dog house and feed me scraps off the table. No, I had certain privileges as a human being, and so did you. But we have all been born into the human family.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.